Hello and welcome to a tutorial on getting your Minecraft Bedrock Edition world ready for the new Nether update. This tutorial is for people who have a big world that they played on for perhaps years, and have explored a good chunk of their Nether. So they would have to explore a long ways away in their Nether to actually see anything new from the update. And that is kind of an unfortunate thing, and it's not an easy problem to solve if you're on the Bedrock Edition, unless they, add another reset Nether button that used to be on consoles a long time ago. There's a small chance they'll add it, who knows, but even if they do add it, you might want to keep some of your Nether, and I'm here to show you how to do that. So basically, you want to find this little tool online called mcctoolchest.com/download. mcctoolchest PE is a it's a tool for, it's actually the only tool for the Bedrock version of the game. That is cross-platform. For whatever reason, it's really hard to make tools for this version of the game. While Java has pretty much everything, you can just go into your files, actually, and just delete the Nether thing, and voila, you have a new Nether. So, what you want to do is you want to click on this, and it will download it. I'm not going to walk you through that process. Basically, you just download a zip, you open the zip, double-click on the setup runtime, and you will see, nothing, nefarious. You won't see any extra things it tries to download. It'll just download mcctoolchest.pe. So once that's downloaded, you want to open up your guy here and open mcctoolchest.pe. Now this is since it's the only tool, it's kind of difficult to manage because it's not at all a great tool. It works. You can do a couple of things with it, although it's confusing if you have no idea how it works. I've spent a couple hours experimenting with it and not being able to figure it out. So once you have this tool open, we're gonna take a quick, detour for people who are on multiplayer worlds. Basically, if you have a dedicated server, this will be real easy. All you gotta do is you got to open up that file. I have the Bedrock folder here. You just gotta go to Worlds, find it. I'm sorry, the backup folder for my server here. If you're on a realm, I think there's just an option just to make it a single player world again. So you just gotta take the latest backup or latest version of the world and click and drag it into your MinecraftWorld file. Which, if you don't know, is under LocalState, users, your name, AppData, local, packages, Microsoft.Minecraft UWP, LocalState, games, com.mojang, MinecraftWorld. So you just click it, drag it in there, and suddenly it's one of your worlds. So now that we have this tool open, you want to click File, Open. It will automatically, bring you to the folder. You don't have to find it again in this, which is really nice. And you just click the world you want to edit. I'll take a second to boot up here, and this is what it gives you. It's basically everything in your level.dat. And you don't really need to pay attention to much of this. In fact, it's very confusing on what it even means. I still don't have a total idea on what it means. You have players, every single player that's been on your server or world. Data, which I'm not even too sure what it means. Overworld, Nether, and End. Since we are going to reset the Nether, we want to look at Nether. So if you open this tab, you'll see these guys. Now, when you first look at this, if you're new to editing with files on Minecraft, you probably have no idea what any of this means. In fact, I had no idea what any of this means. Basically, what R means is region. And a region is 31 by 31 chunks, and each chunk is 16 blocks in your world. So that's, a lot of blocks, or it sounds like a lot of blocks. But it means that every single region you've, walked in has been mapped by your seed in your current version of the game. So, if it's an old world, you've mapped out these regions in that version, and you cannot reset that normally. Now, you can actually just click one of these and delete it. But you don't want to do that. Now, if you don't care about everything you've done in your Nether, you want to just delete all of these. Who cares, But let's say you have another hub or a big-ass gold farm or something along those lines. Well, basically, there's this option called World Map, and you want to click that. Now, what this does is it builds a world map of everything you've explored. Here in the overworld, this is a good chunk. It'll take a minute to load. It'll show us everything here that we've loaded. Now, what you want to do is you want to click Show Spawn, Show Chunk Grid, and Show Region Grid. Now, these chunks are each here 16 by 16 blocks, and there are 31 chunks in each region, which are the red squares. And you could technically manually copy and paste all of these, although that's not the recommended method. Now, I'm sure this would look easy looking at the overworld map because you can just see what you've built. You can zoom in here and see all these things you've built and just save those regions. However, we're dealing with the Nether where that is not so easy because the Nether's map is bedrock. Since it has a floor and ceiling of bedrock, it is the only dimension in the game that has both a floor and ceiling of bedrock. So when you map it out by block view, you can't see any of the structures you built. You can do biome view, but that doesn't change anything since the whole Nether is one biome, at least before the Nether update. Height view doesn't help either. I actually don't even know what it's for. So go ahead and keep it on block view. So what you want to do is you want to look at these regions and see which ones you've explored. This is kind of, everything you've seen in your world. But these 4 regions right around your Nether spawn point is usually where most people will keep their hubs. It's where ours is on this world. So we're just going to focus on these 3 regions. So when you hover over a certain place on the map, you'll see its region appear along with whatever chunk you're hovering over. So this region right here is region, and you want to write this down, otherwise you will get it wrong. Just put down region -1 dot -1. I have no idea what those numbers mean. I don't know if they correlate to coordinates or anything, but it's just what they're labeled. This next region is region 0.-1. Then, of course, we have our lower left region, which is region -1.0. And I am writing this down. You want to do this for whatever regions you want to save. Next up, we have region 0.0. Now we're going to stop here. You want to make a backup of this in case you mess up. Because if you mess up and you don't have a backup, there is no way to go back. If you've completed, if you're say a little bit ahead of me and you've already deleted some things, that's okay. Just don't save it. So now that we know what chunks we want to save, your problem might be that you don't know exactly where all of these chunks are or what's in them. That's going to take a little time to figure out. But I have the chunks I want to save, are these 4 chunks here. Now we could X out of this or just minimize it. I'm going to minimize it. Basically, we want to, collapse that. In here, Nether, you can tell that all these numbers correspond to the regions. So the regions we want to save are -1, -1, -1, 0. Let's see, where else? We want 0, 0, and 0, -1. So everything else, you just highlight and then hit the delete key on your keyboard. And yes. And be very, very careful. We don't want that. We want -1, -1. -1, 0. Do we have... Nope, that's confusing. We don't want this one. Then we have -1, 2. We don't want that. Don't want that. This one we want. That one we want. Okay, now I know all of the 4 ones we want saved are up there, so I can just delete the rest. You can get into a rhythm of this and do it pretty fast, although I don't recommend it. I have many, many backups of this world, like I've said before. So voila, now your Nether only consists of whatever regions you want to save. You could go a little bit more in depth. You could reopen this map and, I guess it's already open. Voila. Suddenly all you have left are these. You could get a little bit more in depth. Like I said, you can zoom in and click on any chunk you want. And what you can do is you can right click that chunk and say copy. Voila. In this chunks area, this chunks tab right up here, it'll save a chunk. And you can even paste it somewhere else, wherever. So if you say no, the exact chunk you want to save, the exact chunks you want to save, you can do that. And that's also very in-depth here in another collapsible tab. So I do recommend just keeping it to regions. And the reason I say you want to do this on a backup file first is so that you can do this and then you can make sure that you didn't leave anything out. Make sure you didn't delete something that you want to keep saved, like the Wither Skeleton Farm or a portal that's just really far away. I know that these 4 regions are all I need because that's where all our portals are, and we don't really have any farms in the Nether yet. So we just X out of world map, we open this guy back up, and we say File, Save, or Save As. I'm going to click Save since this is a backed up copy of my world. You can click Save As to save it as a different world file / name or whatever. So you can click Save, and boom. That looks like... Yes. Now that this is saved, we can actually open it again, our bedrock level world. It'll take a minute. Voila. Here we are. If we uncollapse the Nether, we'll see that only these 4 regions are here. You can do the same thing with the end and even the overworld, however you see fit. And if you go into your world, you will find that anything you've done outside of the regions you've saved will be reset and it will regenerate. Now that this is done, you probably want to do this after the Nether update comes out, so that when you go back into the world on the Nether update, you can regenerate these regions / chunks as a new Nether. So I do plan on doing a little bit more of an in-depth guide on how this tool works. It is very confusing when you first look at it, and it takes a little bit to decipher. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask them in the comments. I will try to answer as many of them as I can. I don't get many views, so I'm sure I will answer all of them. I will answer as best I can, and I will even try and help you through any problems you might have. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.